Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's practice is going to be perfect for all of you runners out there. It's also going to be great for any cyclists, hikers. So we're going to be focusing on the lower body, so the hips, the glutes. We're going to be stretching out those hamstrings, so you should feel pretty good at the end of the practice. As usual, it's not going to be a long one, so get your mat out, roll it out, get ready, and I will see you back just in a moment, and we're going to be starting on our backs today. Okay, so coming onto your back, so rolling all the way down onto your mat and then extending the legs nice and long. We'll just take a few deep breaths here to begin with, so allowing everything in the body to soften, feeling that nice support of the earth underneath you. Inhale, fill the lungs, breathe in, and exhale, sigh out through the mouth, let it go. Good, 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, empty. One more big full breath in. And then letting go of anything that's not serving you through the mouth. Hugging the right knee into the chest, give it a nice squeeze, and then just pause here, maybe rock from side to side. Perhaps you've just gone for a run this morning, or perhaps you've come in from a nice long walk or cycle. So just starting to move gently, not trying to force anything. And then finding a little bit of stillness here. You're more than welcome to bend your left knee at any point in this practice as we're starting on the floor. If that feels good, feel free to bend the left leg. Otherwise, we're going to extend the right leg up towards the sky. So starting to flex the right foot towards you, and then we'll just point and flex for a moment here. So inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Good. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. One more. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex, and pause here. If you need to slightly bend the right knee, that might feel nice. And we should be avoiding any shaking in the right hamstring. So that's often a sign that we've gone slightly too far. And then just breathe into the hamstring. Very good. One more breath. And then bending the left knee, placing your right foot on top, pressing your right knee away from you. And maybe you stay here. This might be enough for you today. Otherwise, interlacing the fingers around the left thigh and drawing the left knee in towards the chest. Try to press the shoulders down and breathe into the right hip. So the right hip, the right glute is starting to open. And again, that should feel nice, especially if you've been exercising recently, if it feels a little bit tight in the muscles. Just starting to breathe into that space and gently allow that space to open. Good. Inhale. And exhale, release. So placing both feet on the mat, extending your right leg long this time and drawing your left knee into the chest. Good. Again, just swaying from side to side, rocking the hips, opening up through the groin, through the front of that right hip flexor, and then slowly starting to extend the left leg. Again, you might want to bend this right knee. So flexing and pointing. Inhale to point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. And then just pause there for a few deep breaths. So feeling into the left hamstring, starting to slowly dissolve any tension in that area. Good. Inhale. And exhale. So breathing nice and consciously. The more we breathe, the more we begin to soften. Nice. And then in your own time, starting to bend up the right knee if it's not bent already. And then we'll place the left foot on top, pressing this left knee away from you, opening up through the hips and the right glute. And then if you would like to add on, you can thread your arms through, especially if you did on the other side. So starting to even out both sides. And again, sending the breath breath into that area. So sorry, the left hip, the left glute, we're stretching now. Good. And perhaps softening your gaze, taking a moment for yourself in your day to just breathe, move, to be with your thoughts, with yourself. Good. Inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Both feet come down. And then in your own time, we're going to rock and roll up to seated. So we'll just take a couple of rock and rolls, hovering the feet, lifting the chest, so at least 3, and then crossing over at the ankles and coming into our tabletop position. So wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll take a few cat-cows. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, round and dome through the spine. Inhale, lower the belly, look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone and gaze to navel. Good. Inhale, lower the belly, come into your cow pose. And then on your exhale, press back, downward facing dog. So first downward facing dog of the practice. So just paddling out through both feet, starting to warm up those hamstrings. And then eventually finding some stillness, keeping a nice bend in the knees. If the heels are lifted, this is absolutely fine. So we want to find length through the spine. We want to allow any tension in the neck to slowly release. And then inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Good. Pause here, or start to bend and yawn open the hips. So stacking the hips, opening up through the hips. You might even want to start to draw circles with the knee. Good. So starting to warm up and lubricate through that hip joint. Lovely. From here, step the right foot between the hands. We'll lower the back knee. And then inhale, reach your arms up, low lunge. We're going to hold on to each elbow and then draw the floating ribs in. So we're nice and long through the spine. We're breathing into the left hip flexor. We're opening up through our hips, through our chest. Nice. So tucking the back toes, lifting all the way up to our crescent lunge this time. Gazing forwards. Keep the hold of the elbows and then keep gazing forwards. Nice. Breathing into those hips. Nice low level lunge. Good. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Re-extend your arms up above you and then straighten the right leg. Now you might need blocks, so take your blocks if you have them. Otherwise just walk the left foot in slightly. Inhale, find length. Exhale, forward fold over the right leg. So modified pyramid. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, start to fold over this right leg. If you need a micro bend in the right knee, again, this is fine. And then you might want to walk your arms forwards to find more length through the spine. Good. Gaze back towards your left big toe. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, we're going to flamingo at the top of the mat. So this left heel is starting to draw in towards the left glute. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Again, hands can be on blocks here. Really nice option. Definitely modify your practice if your hips and hamstrings are particularly tight. And then you're welcome to stay here, maybe taking one hand to the ankle. So taking the right hand to the ankle if you would like to modify, or even coming into your standing splits. So stretching this left leg up towards the sky. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. So we're a little bit like a pendulum now. The more we draw our chest towards our right leg, the more length we can find through the left toes. Good. Inhale. And exhale, send the left foot to the back of the mat, drop the back knee, and then we're going to slide the hands back into our half splits. This is a really nice one to take your blocks, either side of your right leg, or books, whatever you have at home, maybe a couple of tins or a couple of water bottles. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold. So we're finding this nice anterior tilt in the tailbone. So try to stick your bottom out and fold from the hip crease. If you want to widen your feet, this is also a nice adjustment to just allow more space. And then your head doesn't have to be super low to the ground. It can be nice and lifted, just elongating through the spine and drawing the shoulders back, pulling the shoulders back. One more deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling, downward facing dog. So stepping back to your down dog. You might want to just wiggle out the feet. So you should really feel the difference here. You should definitely notice the difference between the right foot, the right leg, the right hip, and the left. So just pausing in your practice, taking a moment for yourself, coming back to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. So very simple, just simply finding your natural breath. Remembering that child's pose is always an option, so you're welcome to drop the knees and take child's pose, take rest. And then slowly from here, inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Either stay there, yawn open the hip, or take those nice circles with the knee. So wherever you are, we're lubricating the hip joint. We're really opening up through the hips. And keep pressing equally down through both hands. Try to draw this left shoulder down a little bit further than the right. And then inhale, re-extend the leg, draw the knee to the nose, lightly step it through. The back knee drops, inhale, low level lunge, take hold of each elbow. Draw the floating ribs in, find length, squeeze through the inner thighs, and then exhale, sink into the hips. Focusing our gaze, focusing our drishti. Another few deep breaths here. Good. Inhale, tuck the back toes, reach the arms up. High lunge now. So we're high on the ball of the back foot. Try to tuck your tailbone under and draw your navel in. Good. Keep squeezing through those inner thighs. So inner thighs are squeezing in towards the midline. And we're nice and active, nice and strong through the back leg. One more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the back leg, maybe bump up your back foot. Inhale, lengthen, lengthen. And then exhale, fold over the left leg, modified pyramid. And this is where you can take your blocks or books. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head. Good, try to draw the left hip back, the right hip forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Again, a couple more breaths here. Breathing into the left hamstring. Opening up through the lower body. And then take your blocks either forwards or to the side. Inhale, flamingo, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Options here. So option to take your left hand to your ankle. Option to extend the right leg up towards the sky, or option to just stay where you are in your simple flamingo. So wherever we are, we're still opening up through the left hamstring at least. And then if you're in standing splits with me, try to squeeze the right glute. Try to lift that right leg even higher. Take another inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, take the right foot to the back of the mat. Option to take your blocks, flex your left foot, and then we'll find our Ardha Hanuman, our half splits. Inhale, the chest draws forwards. Exhale, we fold in. So just taking a few deep breaths in our half splits. And perhaps this pose is telling you something about your body. So rather than bringing this feeling of judgment into our practice, perhaps not feeling good enough in a certain posture, or perhaps even allowing the ego in. We don't really want that to come into our practice. So without judging yourself, what does this pose tell you? Perhaps it tells you that your mind is too busy. Perhaps it tells you that you need to work on this side compared to the other side. So without judging yourself, just start to really feel and really notice what is going on in the posture. From here, we'll press our weight forwards, press into the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Pausing again in our down dog, or option to drop the knees and take a child's pose. So you decide, it's your practice. Really nice opportunity to check in, bringing some awareness onto the mat. Lovely. And then from here, gaze forwards, bend the knees, step or float, Paschimottanasana. So inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding from the hip crease. And then just holding what you can. So maybe ankles, calves, sides of the feet, big toes. Inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Breathing into the whole of the back line now. Nice. Crossing open over the ankles, step back, downward facing dog. Right knee, right wrist, setting up for our pigeon pose. So sliding the left foot back, checking that our back foot isn't sickling. You can take a block underneath the right glute. You can take hands onto blocks. Inhale, open up through the heart, and then exhale, maybe take the hands onto blocks, the forearms onto blocks, or you can simply rest your head on a block, or perhaps you have enough space to come all the way down. Option to stay here in our forward fold variation, or to take the back foot. The back foot, you can just play with squeezing it back in, or you can try to get the back foot in the crease of your elbow and come into our mermaid pose, opening up through the chest, squaring off our hips with the top of the mat, and then opening up through the heart space. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, gently release. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Left leg slides to the left wrist, setting up for the other side. So flexing our left foot, making sure our hips are nice and square. Take a block underneath the left hip if you need. Inhale, open up through the heart space, take a back bend, and then exhale, forward fold for at least a couple of breaths. And then you can take your mermaid pose. So at least a couple of breaths, and then slowly drawing the right foot in, hooking the right foot if you can. You can also take a strap in this posture. So it's really lovely to take a strap and to have a play with this pose. So it's definitely not the easiest pose. It might take a few goes. It might take even a few years to come into this one. So don't feel disheartened if it doesn't come naturally. And then take one more deep breath here, inhaling. And exhale, gently release the back foot. This time we're going to shift our hips over towards the left. We'll sweep our right foot in front, and then we'll just come into a simple cross-legged position. And then from here, palms face up, taking the thumb and first finger together, coming into Jnana Mudra. And then starting to notice how the lower body feels. So there should be a sense of release in the lower body, a sense of opening. And you should feel pretty good, as I said at the start. Good. Bring your hands to heart center. Take another inhale. And exhale, release. Well done.